For me, I really do think that playing music saved my life. I was really sick in the hospital. I was hooked up to like a machine that kind of helped keep my heart beating. And the one thing that really helped me recover during that time and gave me an outlet was playing guitar, learning guitar. So I started playing music when I was really young. I guess I was raised just with a bunch of classical music in my life. So I started classical piano when I was 4, and then I started up violin when I was 7. I played in a couple of orchestras, and then after that, I guess the stress of the classical world kind of got to me because it's very competitive. It was during that time in the hospital I had a lot of time to reflect on ways I could have an outlet and ways I could look to therapy, and guitar kind of became that outlet for me. So I started writing the kind of music I write now because I just grew up listening to, well, mostly classical music, but then I branched off and started listening to everything. I realized that I always have to keep my pure passion for my craft as my true north. And if I were to start curating what I do to suit other people's tastes, number one, I think I would end up feeling very empty. I feel probably quite disillusioned and lost and directionless, and I would probably hate what I do and burn out and probably want to quit. The only reason you ever need to create anything is because you're stoked on it and it makes you excited to keep creating, and that's, I think, the only way to not totally burn out in this industry. At the end of the day, people don't get to tell you who you are. You get to tell people who you are and what you stand for. I think when selecting an amp that I use, I like it to be able to capture a lot of detail and have dynamic flexibility. I like it to be reliable and consistent because sometimes amps can sound different in different environments, and it can be a bit jarring, especially live on stage when you're expecting one thing but then you hear another. So I like to have that consistency. I like an amp that reacts really nicely with my pickups. My personal preference in tone is I like mostly clean on the border breaking up, like a person about to cry or something. You just see the tears welling up, and for me those tears are breakup. I like that there's a gain knob in that amp. You can push your cleans and you can play with how much you want that to happen. The minimal part of it I appreciate it because I feel like sometimes if something looks too complicated or looks too cluttered, I just get already burnt out looking at it, and it's daunting and I don't want to play with it. But when there's just a couple of knobs here and there, I feel like, all right, this is very approachable and I can learn how to control this. I really think having a really great clean tone is super important, and I think having tone shaping tools built into an amp can help any player, and I really appreciate how there's EQ on the amp, but there's also that presence knob, which can boost the mids and the highs and create more presence. So I actually found that presence knob to be really instrumental in creating the tone that I got. One of the things I was really excited about when I was reading about the H650 was the attenuator portion of it. It's cool that you can get the sorts of sounds you get when you push an amp, like high gain stuff, at lower volume. So I feel like I could bring it to a place where I want to be able to play kind of more broken up gainy stuff, but have it at a lower volume so my neighbors don't call the cops on me. So as a huge tube amp connoisseur, I do appreciate that this amp is all tubes, and also as someone who wants to be able to have a lot of headroom when I play and be able to play in different environments, I do appreciate that it's a 50-watt amp and it has 12-inch Jensen speakers. I think the H650 is a very versatile amp. I think it could be played in any setting. Even on a stage, you'd have enough volume to carry you in a very big room. And I think in a bedroom setting, with that attenuator feature that I was talking about earlier, I think it would be really useful playing at quieter volumes, but still getting the kind of breakup and tone you want.